Hey guys, my name is Nick, and welcome to my channel where I cover all things entertainment. Whatever you're watching, I'm making videos about. I mean, it's more like whatever I'm watching, but hey, every month I'm taking a look at all of the popular favorite streaming services to find the best recommendations for you guys. Except for Disney Plus, because it's the same stuff every month. Now, you might not know that Peacock is actually a thing, but it technically does exist. It is the streaming service from NBC Universal, and it even has some of their own content on it. Now, it's an ad-supported streaming service. You can pay for a membership to watch without ads, but I barely give Peacock the time of day. They're not getting a dime out of me. So what I've done is I've rounded up a list of movies that you can watch on Peacock for free in the month of September. I figure if you're on YouTube, you're perfectly cool with watching ads to get free stuff. Except for my videos, you don't even have to watch an ad to get me for free. And you're gonna wanna watch these movies this month, because pretty much all of them are leaving. I'll spotlight the couple that aren't, but it's basically the best of leaving Peacock video. So let's get into it so you can start watching them. Number 10 is Beetlejuice. Yes, they have this Halloween favorite, but only for a limited time. It's about a couple who dies and find themselves haunted by the new family that moves into their house, so they conjure up the mischievous Beetlejuice to get rid of them. I have to admit, I never watched Beetlejuice as a kid, but I love it as an adult, and I'm making up for lost time with rewatches. I just think the idea of flipping the perspective of the haunted house movie is such a good idea, and Tim Burton brings it to the screen perfectly. Of course he does. Duh, he's like the king of Halloween. It's amazing. Number 9 is TheCondemned, a violent as hell action thriller about convicts who are thrown onto a deserted island and forced to fight to the death for a futuristic game show. The last one standing, I guess, gets to live and probably be broken and traumatized forever. This is a survival movie in the vein of Battle Royale, Running Man, and The Hunger Games. It's probably the worst of the bunch, but if you want a hard R, exciting, violent action movie, TheCondemned will in fact kill 2 hours of your time. Number 8 is The Last Days of Disco, a drama set in New York City in the early 1980s, and it stars Kate Beckinsale and Chloe Sevigny as two best friends living through the end of the era of disco. It's a pretty simple movie about life and love as these two friends watch as their lifestyle dies out before their very eyes. Also known as turning 30. It might not be for everyone, but Kate Beckinsale and Chloe Sevigny being gal pals in New York City in the early 80s in the disco times? It's enough for me. Number 7 is Phantom Thread, the Oscar-winning drama starring Daniel Day-Lewis as an upscale fashion designer in 1950s London. His seemingly perfect life begins to unravel after he takes on a strong-willed woman as his muse and lover. I have a confession to make. I have not actually seen this movie. I know, what am I doing? How do I have a movie YouTube channel and I haven't seen Phantom Thread? Well, it sounds boring as shit, and I just can't bring myself to watch it. No matter what I do, I've had this in my watch list forever. I'll eventually get around to it, maybe by the end of the month, but if you definitely want to see this, you're gonna want to watch it. It's leaving soon. Number 6 is Zombieland, the zombie comedy that set the rules for the subgenre. This one follows a stacked cast including Jesse Eisenberg and Woody Harrelson living through a zombie apocalypse. They team up with sisters played by Emma Stone and Abigail Breslin, who are headed to an amusement park, which is exactly how you do the end of the world. Zombieland is one of the best horror comedies, and even though its sequel didn't really live up to the original is still damn good. It's short and sweet, it's funny as all hell, it's just a whole lot of fun. And this one actually is not leaving at the end of the month, so you can save it in case you want to watch it in October. Number 5 is Escape from New York, the cult classic sci-fi action thriller from John Carpenter that stars Kurt Russell as the iconic Snake Plissken. Set in a futuristic world where New York City has been blocked off from the rest of the United States, it's been turned into a massive prison. When Air Force One crashes into this prison area, Plissken is sent in to save the president, and he'll have to do it in a timely manner, otherwise he'll be killed himself. It's a bit of a setup there for the type of simple action movie that we get, and I know I talked about it recently in a What to Watch video for Amazon Prime, so I'll move on, but It is leaving Peacock, so I gotta put it out there. Number 4 is The Munsters. This is the one TV show recommendation that I have, and it is not leaving at the end of the month, so you can save it for October, but this is the kind of thing that I like to get me in the mood, and I think spooky season has already started, so I know this might be for the nerds in the back because it's a 60s sitcom, but come on, it's still a good time. The Munsters are the macabre family living at 1313 Mockingbird Lane. With a Frankenstein's monster of a dad and a Dracula grandpa, the blonde niece is the black sheep of the family. It's basically the same exact show as The Addams Family, but they both came out at the same exact time, so I think there's room for both of them. I know it's old, and it's pretty much just one repeated joke after another. The Munsters think the abnormal is ordinary, and that the normal is weird, but it's the kind of show I like to throw on while making dinner. What can I say? It's fun. Number 3 is National Lampoon's Vacation. This is such a summer movie, but if you need something to break up the rest of this list, this outdated comedy will give you something to either laugh at or with. The Griswolds head out on a road trip to the amusement park Wally World and experience every possible inconvenience along the way. Worst vacation ever. I mean, it's as problematic as you'd expect any comedy from 1980 to be, but what can I say? I think it's pretty damn hilarious. Number 2 is The Birds, another old one, but anyone who doesn't like old movies, watch this and tell me it doesn't hold up. The Birds is about a woman being a thirsty-ass hoe, so she follows a man to a small town in California where all kinds of birds begin attacking people. I'll admit this one does have a slow start, and the setup is pretty damn silly, but people are getting their damn eyes pecked out in this one. Come on, don't tell me that doesn't mess you up. This is leaving at the end of the month, along with other Hitchcock favorites like Rear Window and Psycho. Again, if you don't like old movies, just try these, because I'm telling you, I just watched Rear Window for the first time like this year, and it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Number 1 is Tales from the Hood, one of the best anthology horror movies ever. In it, a funeral home director tells a series of spooky tales, all relating supernatural horrors to the real-world horrors of the Black American experience. I talked about this one in the Best Horror on Peacock video that I did, which I will link. Now it's gonna be gone, so that's a bummer. You definitely want to watch this, because I will repeat it again. This is one of the best horror anthologies ever. I think the vignettes are all solid all on their own, but the wraparound with the funeral director definitely makes this one of the most cohesive as well as entertaining anthologies. It is now that I would like to introduce a new segment that I think just needs to be a thing in my videos. I figure if you make it to the end, you don't totally hate me. You're kind of with me here. You're willing to hear me out. So this is the bad movie recommendation of the month on Peacock, and it's really bad. American Psycho 2, probably the worst sequel of all time. Mila Kunis is a college student studying to become an FBI agent so she can track down serial killers, even though she is one herself, and she begins picking off anyone who gets in the way of accomplishing her goals. This movie is so bad. I gave it a 1 out of 5. It's really about as low as I go, but it really deserves like half a star, because it truly is just so bad. It isn't even like enjoyably, laughably bad. It's just so bad, but also at the same time, it's so bad that you can't help but laugh. If you are a fan of bad movies, if you understand what I'm talking about, like, I'm not saying this is secretly good in any way. I'm just absolutely marveling at what a disaster this is. I mean, how on earth? How on earth? If you're into the early 2000s vibes and you want to see Mila Kunis play a very bland sociopath, this movie does exist, and thankfully it's very short. I did just rewatch it, actually, while doing other things. I wasn't, like, invested in American Psycho 2 All-American Girl, but it did bring me back to watching this on TV at some point as a kid when I was getting into horror. This one's a trip, man. It's so bad. Share your stories down below about how American Psycho 2 totally took away your faith in film. I wouldn't be surprised. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. Let me know if you're actually using Peacock. I don't think anyone is. I kind of feel like this is a joke, making a video about what to watch on an unwatchable streaming service, but hey, free. I love free, okay? free. Did I say it enough times? Don't forget to let me know what your favorites are in the comments below. Follow me on Instagram if you're interested, and if you would subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it. Make sure you hit that bell so you're actually notified when I upload. I fully understand why people talk about the bell all the time. The bell is real, I think. Thank you guys so much again. I greatly appreciate it as always. That is it for this video, but I won't stop you from watching another.